And it's like when you've never done real estate and you've never invested in real estate, you're kind of like, that seems so far fetched. Like that's something like not attainable. And then like coming into that and like buying one building and becoming like, a multimillionaire for that one building, it's like this is life changing. Like,
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Carly Worth, is an investor based in San Diego and holds a Connecticut real estate license. She's acquired over 140 doors in several markets, including Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Mississippi. She's been featured in Authority magazine for being a leader in the real estate space. You can find her on Instagram, RE with Carly. Carly, thanks for taking the time today.
yeah, thanks for having me. Super happy to be here.
You've been involved in quite a bit. We didn't even mention in the bio transition from fitness industry to real estate. And then we were talking before the show about really, like, where are the markets that you're active in? You said I'm in San
Yeah.
Diego, but I'm in Connecticut, and then I'm active in Florida as well. One of the things that interests me about real estate investors in general is there's no like cookie cutter story of a real estate investor, right? you
For
know
sure.
when we talk specifically about like how people get into investing, it's a number of different paths. How did you get into the investing side of the game?
I got my Connecticut real estate license 5 years ago. I just finished year 5 technically. So I'm going into year 6 as of January. So I came into the space. The fitness industry obviously took a nosedive along with a lot of other industries during COVID. So I transitioned into real estate, got my real estate license, instantly fell into the investment space. So I had a came to be client um in my real estate course, and he and I were like pals, but he was really just taking his course just because he was bored. So after I had passed my license, he was like, "Hey Carly, like, do you want to help me find my next investment property?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, I've been licensed for like 6 hours and I have a first client. Like, how great." And instantly started seeing things on Facebook, especially in the Connecticut investment groups where people were wholesaling. And I was like, what is this whole wholesaling thing? So I started researching that. And within my first 7 days of being licensed, I had 2 deals under contract with 2 different investors, and realized like this is a space that a lot of people don't tap into, and there's a lot of upside here. You're getting the sale on the front end, you're getting the listing on the back end, which it's like double dipping, right? So it's not just one transaction, it's going to be 2 transactions per client per project. So I fell into that space eventually pretty early on, maybe like at month 3, it transferred to an investment brokerage where I really learned the ropes of hard money lending, bridge loans, fix and flips, like buy and holds, all of that. So started taking on more clients in that space. And then about a year and a half later, became managing partner for that brokerage. And then slowly started transitioning with one of the owners into buying properties out of state. So Oklahoma was our main market. I would say my first ever investment property was a 36 unit in Oklahoma. So
Wow.
once we kind of expanded there, just kept buying, and that's pretty much how it started, and it's just been a snowball effect since then.
Now, a 36 unit in Oklahoma, the first deal, right?
Yeah,
Holy,
it's a little
walk us
crazy.
through that. That seems like a step to take, right?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah, and it's funny because everyone, when I say that, they're like, "Wait, what? Like, you didn't start on single families and whatever." So I have this connection. My now fiance, his friend was selling this deal in Oklahoma, and I had been working on it for close to a year to try to find a buyer for this deal. And I was like, this is such a good value add deal. Like, but no one can get financing for it. Like, it's almost like too distressed, but it has so much potential, but the price per door is kind of low. So like lenders weren't lending. And a lot of people know in that space at the time, the multifamily and commercial lending was really kind of very difficult to obtain. So I had probably 2 or 3 buyers on that project. No one could obtain financing. It was just like a never ending thing. And I'm like, this is such a good deal. Like, I wish I could buy it, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And when I partnered with my business partner, Chris, who was one of the owners at the brokerage that I managed, um, I was telling him about this deal, like kind of making a joke. We had sat down to like start a debt fund. And I'm like, hey, you want to buy a 36 unit in Oklahoma? And he's like, yeah. Like, what's the deal? Like, do you have the numbers? So I pulled up the numbers, called the property manager, and we're asking her a bunch of questions. And he's like, we need to buy this building. And I was like, wait, what? So a week later, we flew out to Oklahoma, looked at this 36 unit building, and ended up buying it. So it was something I really never thought, possible. And it's like when you've never done real estate and you've never invested in real estate, you're kind of like, that seems so far fetched. Like that's something like not attainable. And then like coming into that and like buying one building and becoming like, a multimillionaire for that one building, it's like, this is life changing. Like this investment strategy can be life changing. Granted, it was a big value add, but my partner has a 10, 12-year background in construction and property management. So that kind of helped carry us through that project. And then my side is more of the relationships from people in Texas as well as raising capital. That's always been like my niche in the space. So combined, we were just really able to take that building to the next level, and we still own it today.
Now, when we talk about multifamily acquisition, there's a
Mhm.
lot of people right now talking about how there's some level or a large degree of distress with
Yeah.
operators who maybe had variable rate debt and didn't no one could have
Yeah.
foreseen COVID happening, and then you have lots of new construction happening, and then rents going sideways, stabilizing, so that you have this perfect storm of events that are not favorable for people in these positions. And
Correct.
so there does seem to be a big opportunity right now, maybe even for newer multifamily investors to get
For
into
sure.
some of these deals. Do you have any advice for folks who may be looking at multifamily right now, trying to figure out how to get in?
Yeah. So we've been getting asked this question a lot. My fiance owns and runs a pretty big education company, primarily focusing on fix and flips and buy and holds in the residential space. And we are now creating a multifamily aspect to that because we've been getting asked so much. And, the entry level, like, I mean, I think we needed like $600,000 to close that. And like, thankfully, we had the capital to be able to do that. But it's really not as far out there as people assume. Like everyone just thinks that like, oh, residential is just so much more attainable. It's so much easier. But really at the end of the day, you are putting the same amount of work into a single family rehab as you are into a multifamily rehab. It's just a higher scale. Like instead of designing one bathroom, like you're designing one bathroom, but you're just buying 36 of them.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah.
So it's really not like that much of a difference from single family to multifamily. Obviously, if you are bouncing into that multifamily, the down payment is going to be higher, minimum 25% down, sometimes higher based on your experience. So it is different than buying residential. You're going to need more liquidity at the end of the day. But if you do have some capital to kind of go through on your first one, even if it's like a 10 or 15 unit, you have that capital. Once you get that under your belt, you can then go to a bigger deal and have that track record for people to lend capital to you to be able to keep scaling as you progress in projects.
Now, when we talk specifically about, the number of doors that people are looking at, some people might say, well, I'm coming from single family or I'm looking at single family homes. Let me get a duplex, a triplex, a quadplex,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But and could potentially house hack that, and there's a value there, of course. But then if you're
Yeah,
looking at like 8 units and 16 units, I had someone tell me recently that the work to manage 20 units and the work to manage 50 or 75 units is comparable. Like with
for
50
sure.
and 75 units, you can hire a property manager, you can have more support. With
Yeah,
8 to anything under 50, let's say, you might be having to do most, if not all of that yourself. For folks who are starting out and maybe they have the option, let's say that they're blessed enough to have the option to go
yeah.
bigger. Would you tell them to go bigger? Would you tell them to start smaller?
If you have the option, the capital, and I would definitely partner with somebody who has like the experience in something that you're lacking. Like if your strong suit is not construction, like I would not advise going into that alone because obviously there's a lot more risk in a 50 unit than there is in a single family.
Yeah.
So like that deal can go completely sideways. Always do your inspections, always get multiple quotes. But yeah, I would say going bigger because like 8, 16 units, like you're not going to have an on-site manager, right? So that means you could put somebody in there who's going to live there for free. And in that aspect, yeah, you're losing maybe $1,200 of rent, but you have someone who's watching over the building, who's doing the handyman work, like that sort of thing. And since we implemented that in the 36 unit, it's been a lot easier. It's been a lot cheaper. And just kind of a smoother process in general. But yes, if you have the capital and the knowledge and experience to go bigger off the bat, then I would suggest going bigger off the bat because property management, again, it is the same to manage a 16 unit versus a 50 unit. But in a 50 unit, you can easily put on site management versus probably paying at least 10% for management outside. And I never advise people to manage their own assets. Like
Hmm.
even a single family, like we don't manage anything of our own. We own probably about 150 single families between Little Rock and Memphis, and we do not manage any of them.
Now, there's so many ways for folks to, if we pivot to single family, there's so many ways for folks
Yeah,
to get into single family, right? Because there is a lower barrier to entry. So that means, some of these more creative strategies are both more accessible and then
for
in
sure.
many cases more feasible. Although that's not always the case because, you're having a more sophisticated seller when you're looking at a larger deal. So they may be familiar with
100%.
like the idea of like seller financing, for instance. But when
I
we
have a
talk,
horror story from that, but we won't get into that.
I might ask you about that here in a second.
Okay, go for it.
When we talk about, acquisition in the single family space, you could buy on market, you could go to a realtor. We're both realtors, you could look off market, you could door knock, you could find, foreclosure lists, you could go through probate lists, divorce, death, you could also, put signs in the ground, that you buy houses for cash or something like this. And then spheres of influence. And I know people who talk about.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
If they're an end buyer, that at this point they don't do any marketing, and I kind of think, well, you're
Yeah.
missing out. But I do think that there's something to be said for those folks who've built a business over years, where folks already know that they're good for it. If they bring a deal to them, that they'll give them their honest assessment at where they can close at. Do you have any feedback for folks who may be just starting out in that single family space and aren't really sure what their primary lead source is going to be, and how they're going to, go about finding the right type of deal for them? Are they going to be looking at a short-term rental? Are they going to be looking at, workforce housing, quote unquote, or are they going to be looking for, something year to year?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different strategies, right? Like getting into it when we first like when my business partner and I first got into it, we were trying to run like we were only doing burrs, right? So we were only buying rentals that we could cash out completely on and not have any capital left in the deal. Obviously, those are a little few and far between now, especially in certain markets. Like we primarily flip in Connecticut, but we won't hold anything that we flip there for a couple of reasons. It's not a landlord friendly state, like taxes and the rental, like it's the price to entry there is so much higher that like your rentals are never going to really make sense
Eh,
or like cash flow at this point. So again, it really depends on what market you're in. When I first got started, I pretty much spent my first year as an agent connecting with anyone and everyone. I would say my third month in, I sold, ironically, a 36 unit in Alvin, Texas to a big buyer. And like, it's just because of the people I met and the people I knew. And playing off of my last name, which is probably why it's one of my favorite sayings, is your net worth is your net, or your network is your net worth.
yeah.
You need to know people. Facebook has a lot of good connection points with people, contractors, wholesalers, that whole thing. You need to be a little careful. There's a lot of wholesalers now that aren't experienced, which I'm sure even you're seeing since you're involved in that. And there's a lot that, there's like, oh, it's 30K a rehab. And you get there and you're like, this is $130,000 rehab.
Rehab, yeah.
And the numbers just don't work, right?
The
But
foundation is rotting. Yeah.
yeah, like it's sitting on the floor. But um, I have so many connections in that space that like we don't market either for, single family fix and flips. And I think if you get to that point where you become, you know, someone top of mind for these people, like they're going to get a deal and they're going to send it to you. Like if you close a deal with them, like they know you're a legit buyer, they're going to continue to send you those deals. So I would also recommend doing your own networking outside of real estate agents, but also get a real estate agent that's actually investor friendly in the market that you're looking in. You don't want a regular agent. They don't understand numbers of fix and flips. I can't tell you how many offers I've submitted where the agents get like insulted by the offer. And I'm like, you're
Yeah.
putting up a house that you can't even live in, and you think a residential buyer is going to come in here and do what? Like, they can't
Um,
do this rehab.
Plus, unless they have it in writing, they got the responsibility to show it to their seller.
100%. And I don't do verbal offers anymore. I have this one friend, and they're always like, "Oh, just run it by them verbal." And I'm like, if it's close enough, I'm like, no, we're just putting it in writing because they won't go and show their seller this. They're just gonna be like, no, like that's way too low or whatever the case is.
Right, right, right.
But you're definitely gonna want an agent that's in the investment space. That is a huge, huge, huge must when you're looking for those assets. Um, I mean, people like me, like, I can find deals for people in other areas. Another thing that some people are really getting into is the turnkey rentals. That's also a really big thing.
Yeah, that's a great.
Um,
That's
yeah,
more
I mean, it's great. I mean, you're buying like, you're probably paying $25,000-$30,000 down, but you're going into a cash flowing and equity. You're coming into equity as well. Like, they're usually probably like 85% of what it's actually worth that you're buying it at, but it's turnkey, management in place, tenant already in there, already cash flowing.
yeah.
Um,
With those
so that's an
properties,
option.
that's I'd say there's so much more of it, and I can't speak for every market, but in Texas, Oklahoma, I might throw Arkansas in there as well. I don't have experience in that market, but I can imagine
Yeah.
even the new construction properties. If you're coming with that much down, new construction, you're coming with 25, $30,000 down. I'd be curious to see how much equity there is like right then and there, based
Yeah.
on you know especially if you're renting it out, like, even at the first year. I mean, it might have equity
Yep.
right away, I don't know, but
Yeah.
this
Well,
this is such.
these do.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these products do. We actually own a turnkey rental property company, and it's great for people who are like, "Hey, I don't wanna get into the whole, like, rehab, buy, rent, figure it out on my own, because then I have to deal with the contractor. I have to deal with the construction, the refinance, blah, 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 blah." Like, I have 25K, if that's gonna get me, $250, $300 a month in cash flow, and then 5 years from now, I need to send my kid to college. I can go refinance that house now and take out all that equity that I had built over the past 10 years,
yeah,
and it's
great
probably
play.
gonna be more than that initial investment.
Yeah.
So, that's been a very popular strategy for more of, like, a hands-off investment strategy, because really, like, construction and management, like, really isn't for everybody. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. So people that have more of like higher paying W-2 jobs that want to get into real estate but can't leave their full-time job, that tends to be like a really happy medium.
Yeah, and I think there's so many ways for folks who are, not wanting to leave their W-2 job to get
Yeah,
into the real estate space.
for
And
sure.
one of the unique things, when we talk about some of these other markets, I'm a little hesitant to say Connecticut because I'm from New Jersey, or grew up in New Jersey, so I
We're
kind of
just
understand.
following each other around
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah. I mean, Texas, I've noticed there's a lot of, well, what I would call mom and pop investors. Folks who have
Yeah,
jobs and they're investing in real estate. I
yeah.
really didn't, and this may be changing now, but I really didn't know too many mom and pop investors. Like, that seemed to be like, if you were in real estate where I grew up, that
You're
was
big.
your vocation. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
something that you were doing and that could be for so many factors. But we actually are coming up on time here, though, Carly. Any new projects that you're working on, or how can folks reach out to your team?
Yeah, we're currently working on 40 units in Texas right now. Major, major rehab. Like, but the exciting thing is based on how I always buy, so I guess it's not that new and exciting for me, is that we're going to be able to completely burr out of these 40 units and get capital. It will even get additional capital, which is tax free. So we're super excited to basically own 40 doors for $0 and continue cash flow for the next 30 years. So that's kind of what we're working on. If anyone has any questions or wants to go a little bit more in depth in anything we talked about, whether it's, you know, the capital side of things or the turnkey rentals or the education, like, we're happy to have a chat with you. So you can either reach out to me on Instagram at Ari with Carly. That's also my email, ariwithcarly@gmail.com. So just happy to answer any other questions that anyone has and yeah, continue to grow all together.
Carly, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.